I was like, wow, this is embarrassing for the WNBA.
Honestly, not going to apologize for that. I'm a competitor. I want to win. I shouldn't get over that. I should use it as fuel, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm working really hard. I'm doing everything I can to use Unrivaled for exactly what I was built to, build my game. I wish we were treated better in our other places of work, you know? But also,
the WNBA has punished Napheesa Collier for openly endorsing her rival league, Unrivaled, at league events. Unmatched co-founders Breanna Stewart and she are somehow in charge of WNBA contract negotiations.
And so that's kind of where I'm at with it, is just using it as fuel for the next time I'm playing in the W season, because it sucks to lose. And as a professional athlete, everyone feels.
Before things went totally out of control, the league eventually reacted after the public labeled it sabotage.
NBA finals right now, I'm just thinking about making myself better.
For sure. Well, I mean, you had a phenomenal season.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was supposed to be a celebration, a night of good sportsmanship, and perhaps even a few entertaining events that garner media attention.
Napheesa shamelessly self-promoted in the All-Star Game Draft.
Nephi openly advertised himself at the All-Star Game Draft.
Really happy with the manner in which Napheesa Collier conducted herself during the WNBA All-Star Draft.
It's full-blown commercial excess, not subtle or professional, as well as the cherry on top. Instead of supporting the Minnesota Lynx or the Indiana Fever, who were hosting the dreadful event, she appeared on that ESPN broadcast wearing a huge, unmatched shirt as if she were attending a sponsored TikTok collaboration.
Or your Lunar Owls Unrivaled shirt. You just wore an Unrivaled shirt.
Let's be clear about this. There is more to the WNBA All-Star Draft than a haphazard local TV segment. The transmission is nationwide in scope. It's one of the few occasions a year when a major network gives the WNBA significant attention. And Collier promoted a league she co-owns by taking use of that fantastic opportunity.
You wore it on air, and then you mentioned the league that you co-own like 5 times in the first 15 minutes.
She made several references to Unrivaled during her brief 15-minute airtime, mentioning her Lunar teammate and co-founder Breanna Stewart as though she were conducting a promotional webcast rather than taking part in a WNBA event. To be honest, it felt more like a commercial for a product that no one requested than a draft.
And I'm sure she thought, well, this is my way to shade the people that says there's a conflict of interest. No, it was a great way to prove everybody right.
This is when things get wild. Unmatched games aren't even broadcast on ESPN. No motivation, no connection. As if you were the face of disruption, you are marketing a competing product on their platform. This isn't Silicon Valley, girl. It's not adorable. It lacks intelligence. It is blatantly disrespectful. As though she were pitching her startup league to Shark Tank investors, the occasion shifted from celebrating the sport to promoting it.
Keep in mind, ESPN doesn't broadcast Unrivaled games at all. They've got no interest in Unrivaled blowing up because they don't have the rights to any games.
Let's now discuss the treachery of the franchise. Her actual WNBA squad, the Minnesota Lynx, received no recognition. While Collier transformed the camera into a one-woman hype train for her side project, the Indiana Fever, who were hosting this ostensibly proud moment for the league, received nothing but background noise. The fans were perplexed. Wait, are we watching WNBA content or an advertisement for some bootleg spin-off league? Even the ardent fans began to inquire. And since this wasn't a casual name slip, they weren't mistaken. It was deliberate, premeditated, and repeated.
But that was a WNBA product, and it became a promotional tool for another league. You're trying to tell me Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart have the best interest of the WNBA players?
Let's go on to the more significant problem, which is unparalleled. Originally started in 2023 with the intention of empowering players and advancing women's basketball, it has now grown into a major problem for the WNBA. Let's be truthful. Nobody is being empowered if you co-found a rival league and then flaunt its name at formal gatherings. The very organization that provided you with your platform is being undermined by you. It's a hilarious irony. Collier continues to profit off the WNBA while detracting from the league that initially made her important in terms of fan interest, sponsor trust, and brand equity. It isn't empowerment. That is sabotage.
And being really present, like I'm so focused on Unrivaled right now. I want to win this championship right now.
This is made worse by the fact that Unrivaled isn't even shown on ESPN. Collier had the gall to promote it at the WNBA's own stadium, even though it makes no contribution to the WNBA ecosystem. Consider that. You're trying to market your own brand to the guests at someone else's party while you're standing in their living room. Did you honestly believe that would work? This was not an unintentional error. This was a well-thought-out decision to promote a company that directly competes for players, viewers, and attention, all the while posing for ESPN's cameras. Perhaps bold. Astute? Not at all.
Such a phenomenal league so far. But is there this element of also just like
in the WNBA still fills a hole because it still allows us to grow our game and to build our brand sponsorships, which a lot of people don't realize that we make most of our money off the court.
However, if you felt it was awful, let's look at the data, because Unrivaled isn't exactly dominating the market. Only a few of its games have received over 85,000 views. Indeed, not even six figures. For the sake of influence and branding, Napheesa still believed it was a good idea to take advantage of the hundreds of thousands of people who regularly watch WNBA All-Star broadcasts, light up the limelight, and destroy the reputation of her own league.
Athlete, everyone feels that way. That's why we're great, because you hate losing. So I'm kind of just using it to better myself, because you can't change the past, but hopefully I can, do a different outcome for the future.
You choose to squander broadcast time on a new side project that isn't even demonstrating that it can last a full season while attending a nationally televised WNBA event. In sports media, unparalleled viewership hardly registers. ESPN doesn't even consider it a minor issue. You're attempting to pretend that it's some revolutionary thing that's worth giving up real-time visibility for the league that actually provides your income. Be honest.
And she gave him a middle finger by talking about the Unrivaled League. I got to give Caitlin Clark credit. That trading Cheryl Reeves hating ass off her team was beautiful.
And let's not even discuss how this affects sponsors and business associates. Instead of a player who uses corporate broadcasts to promote her own league like she's operating a pop-up shop, companies join up to associate with professionalism, legacy, and a polished brand. It exudes the enthusiasm of a novice startup. It informs marketers. Hey, invest in us, but we might turn your airtime into a self-promotion fest for something you're not even involved in. Do you believe that gives you confidence?
Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier are even involved in this. All right. Why are they even involved? So, anyway.
Not to be overlooked is timing. The WNBA is seeking to extend their season to 50 games in the midst of all of this. Their goal is to increase the size of club rosters. They are battling to demonstrate that they are deserving of greater funding, media attention, and deals. Napheesa Collier is on the front lines right now, demonstrating to owners and sponsors why they should be reluctant to invest any more money in this catastrophe. She isn't simply veering off course. When the league needs stability, she is giving the impression that it is disorganized and unprofessional.
Wearing an Unrivaled shirt for the WNBA draft, but wants to pretend there's no conflict of interest in CBA negotiations. Laugh out loud.
Thus, while players, supporters, and club owners are looking for advancement, harmony, and long-term agreements, Napheesa Collier is out there using a national platform to promote her brand, her agenda, and her side league, all the while pretending to be a devoted WNBA ambassador. She isn't. She lacks loyalty. She isn't being helpful, and she isn't subtle.
I mean, wow. We still pretending the WNBA doesn't have a conflict of interest with Unrivaled after Napheesa shamelessly self-promoted in the All-Star Game draft?
This was not an avant-garde attempt to upend the established quo. It was a careless, ego-driven choice that revealed all the flaws in her priorities. She wasn't speaking on behalf of the league. She wasn't acting on behalf of her group. She utilized a nationally televised league-sponsored occasion to promote her brand, side project, and personal interests, as if the WNBA were merely another step toward her aspirations of being a company.
Fee sat on ESPN and pushed Unrivaled propaganda for 30 straight minutes. But there's no conflict of interest, right? Right?
For a moment, consider the scenario in which Tom Brady entered the NFL's CBA negotiations with the words, "Don't worry guys, I got this," after co-founding the XFL while still a Patriot. He would be laughed out of the room by you. However, this circus is not only permitted in the WNBA, but it is also in charge of the talks. And it gets worse. Guess who stands to gain if the WNBA is unable to reach an agreement or if negotiations break down and a lockout occurs? Unmatched. The same league that Stewart and Collier play in. It's similar to a Fox negotiating a new henhouse security system.
I say again, as a fan, Unrivaled owners, especially Unrivaled co-founders,
Players like Napheesa Collier immediately branded the owner's proposed proposal for the new CBA as a slap in the face. Breanna Stewart also hopped on that bandwagon, claiming that the offer disregarded all of our arguments. And see, that might well be the case. However, you have to wonder why the people who are yelling the loudest are also the ones who stand to benefit the most from a complete breakdown in negotiations. It's not subtle at all. It seems like they're attempting to push players out of the WNBA and into their own backyard the more irate and histrionic Collier and Stewart become about how unfair the league is. This is manipulation, not leadership.
The owners came back with an offer. And Napheesa Collier said it was a slap in the face. Breanna Stewart echoed that sentiment on Thursday by saying it felt like the players were, quote,
Then came the criticism because social media wasn't going to overlook this one, and fans aren't stupid. The internet erupted in support of Collier following her little all-star prank in which she transformed ESPN into a glorified, unmatched advertisement. Screenshots of her daring, unmatched garment went viral on X, with commenters and fans describing it as a sabotage attempt concealed behind a smile.
Not a good one at that.
This is a screenshot. That right there is an Unrivaled shirt. That's an Unrivaled logo on Collier's.
Because she treated the All-Star draft like a brand deal, people made fun of her. No, they roasted her. Some mockingly inquired as to whether she intended to give out a promo code during the player announcements or sell unmatched jerseys during halftime. Furthermore, it wouldn't have been shocking if she had a QR code on her back that connected to an unmatched merchandise store given the speed at which she was moving. It became so out of line that way.
So it shouldn't be surprising that these players have decided to allow Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart to be.
Some didn't even try to make jokes. They labeled her entitled, unprofessional, and downright business illiterate, which is exactly how she was behaving. One follower was spot on when she likened her action to burning your employment offer during the interview. And it was precisely that. She wasn't merely trying to harm her own reputation. She was criticizing the WNBA as a whole. The same thing was being said by media personalities, seasoned athletes, and even impartial voices. Everyone finds it more difficult to believe anything about the league at the moment because of this kind of scam.
Her being on the CBA negotiations is not a conflict of interest, given she spent a half an hour pushing Unrivaled during the WNBA draft. Shaking my head.
And the entire catastrophe merely draws more attention to the individual who is not present. Every program featuring Caitlin Clark, the player and breakthrough star, attracts millions of viewers. The one who is genuinely promoting expansion, drawing in new supporters, and improving the league's marketability. She's on the outside looking in, though, as Collier and Stewart manage the WNBPA as if it were their own exclusive clubhouse. Let's simply call it that. The players are not being represented by Collier and Stewart. They are defending their personal interests. Instead of the real athletes competing on the court every week, they have taken over player leadership and repurposed it to further their side league. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark, who is largely responsible for the existence of half of these new eyes, has very little say in these discussions. This power dynamic undoubtedly makes that evident. even if Collier's all-star catastrophe didn't. The double standards are also rather noticeable. It was perfectly summed up by one commenter. They would have called it entitlement if Caitlin Clark had done this. However, they refer to Collier's actions as empowerment. It tells it all, because it's somehow bold and revolutionary when the old guard does something dirty. However, a newcomer is instructed to sit down, blend in, and pay her dues when she attempts to speak up. It's not a union, it's a clique. Get more painful breakdowns, unsaid drama, and the truth no one else would speak aloud by subscribing now.